actually going to ask. I was going to say, tell us a bit about yourself. So maybe tell us a bit about Ambition Demolition.
I quit the band I was in. I won't go into that. It was all a bit messy and a bit no money, no girlfriend, no wife, no kids, no job. I just thought, so I just pack my bags and go to Spain because it's just like there's nothing for me here at the moment, nothing happening, and I hate winter. Um, so I just pottering around, and then um, Buff, the bass player, the guy with the big spikes, he he left his band because he'd had enough because he was being used left, right, and centre, and he'd had enough. So he quit his band, and then people were saying to both of us, "Oh, why don't you get together with Al? Or why don't you get together with Buff? He's not doing something, you know." So Buff messaged me and he said, "Oh, you know, you're not doing anything. You know, do you want to sort of get together, have a jam or something or other?" And I said, "Right, okay, well, come round to the flat." I said, I can play the guitar. I've never played guitar in a band. I can strum a few chords." And I said to him, "Just come round, and I've got a few tunes that I've been playing myself on the guitar for donkey's years." And I said, "Come round." And he came round and he sat there. He got out a wooden bass, a ukulele bass. I thought, what the hell's this? What's going on here? Because obviously it was nice and easy to bring, you know, for a bass player. And I thought, I'd heard some of his stuff that he played in his band before, and it wasn't my sort of thing. It was quite low end. I don't want to be disrespectful, but it was quite, you know, didn't float my boat. Anyway, he sat there with this ukulele bass, and he started playing it, you know, like a banjo sort of a thing. And I thought, blimey, what have we got here? Anyway, he seemed to like the tunes I was playing on the guitar. I thought, oh, that's one thing. And we just said, right, we'll have a jam, come round again next week or something. And then where he works, we used the drum kit because where he used to practice with his other band, they had a load of equipment there. So there was a makeshift drum kit. So we went up to his maintenance department, had a couple of jams with the bass and the drum kit, and you know, having a bit of fun, just seeing what we could do. And then we thought, right, well, we need a guitarist and a singer, you know, to sort of get a whole band together. And we tried one or two people, and it was just like, who can we get in? You know, who can get to Broadway, where Buff lives? Not that far from Evesham. It's about a dozen miles or so, nearly 15 miles from Cheltenham. So we're practicing there. So people have got to get there, and who's out there that isn't already in a band or could do another band, and it's just we were falling flat. And then somebody suggested, "Oh, Alan Cattermole, I don't think he's doing anything with his band anymore, or he's doing very little. Have a word with him." So we did, and thankfully, where they're still living at the moment, south of Stroud, in the depths of Gloucestershire, the other way, he came to bypass Cheltenham, past Cheltenham in order to get to Broadway. So he picked me up. We went out there, and we had a couple of jams, and Alan was saying, "Oh, so am I in then?" We said, yeah, we're not letting go of you now. That's it, you're in. So we just started jamming. I, believe it or not, was singing, using that term very, very, very loosely. I was doing the singing just to shape the songs, just to get something together, to jam. And that was working, and then obviously the others realised what I was trying to do. And then because Alan had way more experience with doing vocals, namely backing vocals, he sort of took over and started doing more and more and more, which was good because he could actually do some proper singing, you know, within the realms of a punk band. So we kept jamming, and we thought, right, we need to get a singer in, but there was just nobody out there. And we just kept going with Alan doing the vocals. Buff was joining in, doing little bits and pieces. And then we got enough songs together to play a gig. We had about 25 minutes. So we played our first gig, and people realised that we weren't. I think people thought we were mucking about, having a bit of a laugh, and I think people realised they're taking this seriously, because bloody hell, this is pretty good, but that sounding too, big-headed or anything. But that was just the way it went.
Yeah.
We had a really, really good rapport. People enjoyed what we did, and that was it. We just carried on as a three-piece. And that's the way we've done it. And it just seemed to have worked. It just got better and better and better. And that's what we stuck to. And we're now... So that we started up 9 years ago. We've been going about 9 years, literally to the day. And we're now jamming... we've got 4 or 5 songs we're jamming for our 4th studio album. So we've done quite well, really,
you have.
all things considered.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at now. We're jamming new songs for the next album. We're playing in Nuneaton. Never played there before. Playing in Nuneaton in a couple of weeks, an all-dayer there. Sadly, we're not doing Rebellion. We've got a
Might
couple
change.
of gigs at
Might
the beginning
change.
of August. And then we got 1 or 2 later in the year. So we've got a few things going on. So that's where we're at the moment.
Your song not normal.
Yeah.
Did you get the idea from Rage DC, or was it something that was?
It's well, Alan keeps when we play it live. When we haven't played it live for a while, but when we did play it live, Alan would say, "Oh, this is thanks to Rage DC, an influence for them." But you've heard it too soon there, Marie. But I wrote the song. I wrote the song and the lyrics, and the song came about. It was a lot of tunes I found started off and then they went lower, sort of down the neck of the guitar. And I thought, well, I want a tune where I start low and then come up and do it that way. And that's how the tune, The Not Normal, came about. And the lyrics I wrote was some things I had in my head for many, many years about, what do they call normal, and, that sort of thing. And it sort of got born out of that. So there was things. I don't want to be disrespectful to Rage DC, because we love those guys. But it was more born out of what I had in my head rather than anything that I got directly from Rage DC.
Cool.
But there is that little about it that, because we probably played with them a lot more than I think any other band. So there was a little bit of an influence there, around the beginning of when we started playing the song. But I personally, like I say, I wrote the tune and the lyrics, so I wasn't personally influenced directly from Rage DC. Yeah. But we make this association because, like I say, we love those guys and we played them a lot, so we sort of tag it on, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Because when I first heard it, cause I was like, I wonder if that's been an influence, I thought I'd better ask you rather than yeah.
It's possible, unconsciously.
Yeah, it probably is, because you play with so many bands and similar bands, and I was working through something the other night, and I thought, oh, this sounds very Conflict-y, because I probably played with Conflict, through Lost Cherries. I played with Conflict more than any other band. Yeah, it's. So it gets in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think Conflict's probably one of the bands I've seen the most over the years. I never saw Lost Cherries as many times as I would have liked. But obviously it was back in the 80s, getting around to see all the bands, and there wasn't a lot of gigs in Cheltenham back then, so we found ourselves travelling to Birmingham or Bristol to see a lot of bands. But yeah, I think maybe unconsciously I probably got an influence of just the words, and then it went with my ideas about. I mean, one of the lines is, who wants to be normal? Where's the fun in that? Because anybody can do that.
Yeah.
So where's that sort of thing? So yeah, subconsciously I probably was influenced a bit, but not. It wasn't directly. It wasn't directly. And then of course it became Not Normal was actually the title of the album, but the song is. I think it's I Don't Want to Be Normal. I think that's its full title.
Yeah.
But we for it. I don't know if you've seen the video.
I haven't seen the video. I've heard the song. I've not seen the video. I've seen pictures from there. I'll have to watch the video. I don't know why I haven't. I think I just get sidetracked with kids and stuff and everything else going on. I feel like I blame the kids a lot, but it's, you never. I'm surprised I've not been screamed at. But then again, Laurie, what is your anti-hunt background?
Me personally, I don't know so much about the other two, but me personally, back in the 80s, I went hunt sabbing a few times.
Yay.
And obviously with the association, that and various other people and bands, because obviously a lot of the info that came with bands, their records, bands like obviously Subhumans, Conflict, Icons of Filth. A lot of stuff came with, the gatefold sleeves with singles especially, and other leaflets that were put in records. And I think I was anti-hunt, even from an early age. My family weren't into that at all. And my mum still gets stuff from the League Against Cruel Sports. So it was always there from a young age. Like I say, I went hunt sabbing a few times in the 80s, and found out that hunt people are just horrible people. They really are horrible. And obviously just kept going on and on from there. And obviously now with the DIY gift of the internet, there's so many things on there that get shared. So I watch and comment on a lot of stuff that various hunt sabs from up and down the country post, and keeping tabs on just what's going on with all that. I've got the hotline number that I've used a couple of times just to tell the hunt sabs, or in the Cotswold here and there, they're up, looks like they're up to no good. So yeah, but it's. I know it's a different kettle of fish to what hunt sabbing was. I mean, obviously a lot of the violence still goes on, but because they're being monitored and filmed all the time, they can't get away with things they obviously got away with back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because not many people had cameras and stuff back then, so you can imagine what the hunting fraternity and the thug supporters, you can imagine what they got away with back then. Yeah, so that's it sounds a bit lame that I'm just sort of participating it through sort of Facebook, but I share a lot of stuff, so at least people can see stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It can be shared, and it can, if one person, 2, 10 think like, well, hang on a minute, I think enough's enough for these people. A lot of people. Some of the messages. A lot of people seem to be posting stuff, and you can tell that they've probably never been involved with the hunt sabs or anti-hunt or League Against Cruel Sports or anything like that. They really are just people, just general public. But it's nice to see that they're taking a stand and speaking out.
Yeah.
So,
because it's not an easy thing to do, hunt sabbing. There's stuff that you see that you see hard stuff, and you're in the firing line of a lot of violence, and It is hard, and I respect anybody going out there. I mean, me and my friend have said we'll go back out when our kids are a bit older, because I mean, how would I don't know. We were just saying, how could we explain that to our kids if I've come home, like, of a bus nose, or if I've been arrested. How would I explain that to them? So it's
obviously the kids at a young age, they will worry,
yeah,
and it's like something else you have to deal with after you've had a bad day out with the hunt thugs, and then obviously that's yeah. So hopefully when they're older, they can understand more, because you would want to explain them more about what's going on, obviously.
yeah,
So that's just what these people get up to. But hopefully in the next few years, a lot of stuff, it's, I mean, their days are numbered. No doubt about it, their days are numbered. And it seems that every other month, another a hunt pack fold up, and they have to go and join another hunt because they can't do it on their own anymore. And if this current government, stick to the plan and, and grow a set of balls, and obviously along with all these landowners that should stop trail hunting, because that's been shown to be a complete and utter joke, and another pack of lies on top of all the lies that the hunting fraternity want to put out there to try and hoodwink the public. So if all the loopholes in the laws get changed and made stronger, then it's going to be so difficult. A lot of the hunts will just fold up, because obviously yourself, you must have seen that a lot of pubs and restaurants that host the local hunts are all starting to say no one by one.
Yeah.
And hunts are finding themselves out on a limb in that respect. And of course, you must have heard Vinnie Jones. I mean, what a horrible, horrible person he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I mean, he does these stuff where he's out on his farm, or, watching wildlife and stuff. And I think he's absolute hypocrite, because he used to do a lot of lamping, and he was proud of it, and he was taken with all the kills he made. It's just a despicable human being. And also, obviously, all my family being from West London, which is why I'm a QPR fan. He came to QPR Football Club, and I thought, but he didn't stay that long. I don't think he even scored a single goal for us. But he threw the toys out the pram when he wouldn't the management wouldn't let him be part of the new management, and it cost us £400,000 to get rid of him. But in my eyes, so does that answer your question?
That did answer my question. That was a side of you that's, it's quite. If you go through your Facebook, right, you see like the posts, but you never openly talk about it. Also, it's or maybe I'm not listening. I'm sorry, sometimes I get so caught up in stuff. It's
really nice to actually physically talk with somebody about stuff like that, because we're singing from the same song sheet. So
yeah,
what's what there. But yeah, so it's within the band. We don't, because the other two aren't specifically full on with stuff like that, like I am. I mean, obviously they don't agree with hunting, and they don't want anything to do with those sort of people and all that. But going back to the band, it's kind of like the band I'm in now. It's kind of like the punk band that I always wanted to be in when I got into punk in the late 70s. I kind of feel like this is the band I always wanted to be in. But we don't specifically sing about anything. For instance, I won't write an out-and-out anti-hunt song, for instance, although I could, and I'm sure the other two, won't mind, won't have a problem with it. But I think with this, we seem to write about life in general more, because, life, you know, we all have lives, and we've all got to do similar things. We've all got to go shopping to get food and work for this, that, and the other, and families and everything. So it's kind of, you know, we don't segregate ourselves. I mean, a lot of bands can sing about, you know, without being a downer on it, they've got, you know, death, destruction, bombs, war, and everything like that. Some bands do great at doing that sort of thing. But for us, it's considering, because punk has always meant to me that there's just no limits with anything you can sing about. You know, it's open ground. You know, we can write songs about what we want, sort of a thing. And it's probably a little reflection in our music as well, that we don't stick to a single format. Do you know what I mean? We don't always stick to the same kind of tunes, which a lot of bands do.
Yeah.
And they do it, but it's not for us, if you see what I mean.
You've got to do what's right for you. I've realised that as well as I've got older. I think that's a maturity thing, isn't it? You've got to, you know, do what's best for you and what works for you. Yeah.
Well, that's it with a particular band. And obviously, I don't want to force anything on the other two. That, oh, you know, I'll write some lyrics. What, we've got to do that. It's whatever we call it Alan and Alan writing team. So we split it between us. And Buff is really happy. Although he can read and write, not a problem there. He doesn't have the same kind of aptitude that me and Alan have for writing tunes and writing lyrics. And he's more than happy for me and Alan to crack on with it and do it. He has no problem with that. We just let him do all the bass lines that he creates. We've got really, really good camaraderie between us, to the point where even after, if a practice doesn't go the best, we don't jam, we're all sweaty and uncomfortable and achy and everything, we always still hug each other before going home. And it's just a really, really nice thing that we've got that kind of camaraderie. And we're all of them. So we see each other quite regularly, and we chat about this, that, and the other, and whatnot at practice when we have a break. But it's, I mean, I've probably been in and out a lot more bands. Well, way more so than Buff. Buff's only been in a couple of bands. I've been in, well, the same as me, you know, a good handful of bands here and there over the years. When we started up in bands when we were teenagers. So we know what the crack is from there, and all the different shenanigans and whatnot. We sort of left that behind. So we get on really well. We just get stuff done because we like what we do. Many people seem to like what we do, and it's just it's good fun, and we like the commitment that we've got with the band. And like I say, we're jamming songs now, 4 or 5 songs now for the new album. And the way it's going, we might even be in the studio by the end of the year. If not, it'll be early next year. So that'll be the 4th studio album. We've got a live album. We've got an EP as well. So we've done fairly well. We've done fairly well. And we also, you know, the best band we've ever been in, all the stuff we've done, despite, you know, whatever we did when we were teenagers or whatnot over the years. But this is, like I say, me personally, it's kind of like the band that I think I always wanted to be in.
Yeah.
Even early 80s when I first started playing the drums. Although I actually started playing the guitar first, but like I say, I was never in a band with the guitar, because I just don't have that aptitude to be a guitarist in a band. But I make up a load of tunes on the guitar, and fortunately the other two seem to like what I do, so great. I could carry on doing that. And we split. Normally the albums, it's kind of like half and half with me and Alan. Although Alan being the singer as well as the guitarist, he tends to sort of have not the lion's share, but I mean, he normally gets 1 or 2 extra songs on the album, which is great. So if I can get, like, say, 5 albums on an album, that's great. And there's some tunes that I've been playing for donkey's years that are coming to fruition. So and one actually we just started jamming called Finding My Way Home. It's about, we've all done it where we've been out on a night and we're going home and it's raining. And all we want to do is just find our way home, get in, get our wet clothes off, you know, have a cup of tea, bit of toast or something before home. And at the end of the evening in the rain, it just seems to take hours, you know. And all you want to do is just find your way home, just get home. And that's what the latest tune we're doing is about. I mean, I've had the lyrics years ago. And the tune, I think I've had the tune for longer than that as well. So it's nice that there's some tunes that I've had in my locker many, many years ago that I can bring to the fruition now. So, but the other two, they've been really, really good to me. They've helped me out with all sorts. I don't mean just like financially, you know, when I'm not in between jobs. I mean, I'm not working now. Well, I'm my mum's carer. But, and obviously, even though I do drive, I borrowed my dad's car to sort of get out of the house and come up to the top of the hill here to do this. Buff drives around, so I said that he's my chauffeur. He takes me around with my gear in, and Alan obviously takes his gear in the merch. And obviously Vicky is our merch fairy, so I have to mention her of what she does. And we're all very, very, very grateful of what she's done there. Fantastic job. So she's like our fourth member, if you like. So yeah, do a few more gigs. Our gigs are very sporadic at the moment. Playing in a couple of weeks, then we're not playing until beginning of August, and then I think we've got one or two November time. So our diary's a bit empty. So yeah, we'll play with Rage DC any day of the week. We're more than happy to sort of you know, if they need a support band, then we're there. We would never say no to them. So
Cool.
So yeah, I'm glad I got to mention not just the band but the other two as well, and Vicky. You know what they all do, what they bring to the band, and just how we get along and do our stuff. So yeah, well, I'm really pleased and I'm really, really grateful that you asked us, and I really appreciate you letting us do this, and very humbled.
I think. Thank you for being on my show. I'm humbled that you're on my podcast, that you wanted to be on it, you know.
I said yes to it, and here we are chatting, so I'm humbled too. So the feeling is very, very mutual, Marie, very mutual. So yeah.
I think.